Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Novelo for EA Sports, calling all the action for today's event. We are here at Wolf Creek Golf Club. It's located in Mesquite, Nevada. Frank, if I didn't know that it was Mesquite, Nevada, I think we landed on the moon and they built the golf course here. This is just mind-boggling.
100 years ago, you couldn't build a golf course like this here. Obviously, all the equipment needed, but in the end, it's wonderful. It's an absolute playground for anyone that sort of loves to play the game. It is desert golf, obviously because of the terrain, but the green oasis that cuts in between is each hole. It just sort of gives you a totally different experience because you keep having to remind yourself you are smack bang in the middle of the desert. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Frank, that is how it's done.
Yeah, take a gross of those. That is a lesson in itself.
And now a chance for eagle. So -2 early in the round. Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box, is it 9 stories high? It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get.
Headed for the bunker? Just a bit offline and into the bunker. And the tee shot ends up in the bunker. All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
So on the putting surface and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second.
Really. This is an awkward length.
Well, that's how you keep a round going, make putts just like that. All right, Frank, describe the third hole.
Well, it's a par 3 with a bit of a tabletop green, Rich. Some bunkers right and left of that, but also it's going to play a little bit further. This tee shot is uphill, unlike the opening 2 holes. So a 3 here, and that certainly won't hurt the scorecard.
Good, clean contact, and a nice result, and a chance for birdie coming up.
Second shot. You want to know the difference between good scores and average scores? That.
Yeah, right there. Just a tap in to finish the hole. Did the job right there. 383-yard fourth hole. Certainly not long, Frank, but there's plenty of trouble out there.
Yeah, this is very much a positional hole. This is not sort of tee it up with a driver and just rip it down there. It's just find the fairway. You're going to have virtually just a short wedge, 9-iron really at the most into this green. And really, this is a good chance for a birdie. So 2 good shots, and you shouldn't be too far away.
Pretty good shot, Frank, just inside of 20 feet.
Yeah, 19 feet is what we're hearing.
Don't leave it short. Wow. And getting ready for the putt. Drops another birdie and moves to 4 under on the day. We're in the desert, partner. I need water.
You're going to get it here, Rich. Par 5 second hole's got a nice stream that runs down the left side as well as cutting the fairway. There's a crop of some 3 bunkers down that right side. I want to avoid that, but, Rich, this hole isn't too long. Under 500 yards, not even going to play that long, so very reachable.
It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long and straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, holes shorter. Basically, the list goes on. Should be safely on deck.
Crucial eagle attempt on the way.
It's that sneaky distance. Good roll, good putt.
Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 fifth hole also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 280, 290 yards. That's the key. From there, well, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, it's got more humps than hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. So a tester from 4 feet. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now onto the par 4 7th hole. Is this a reachable par 4, Frank?
Distance-wise, you would think so, but the designer has done something to avoid that, and that's put all this water in front of the green. It would take a mammoth tee shot, and that's something like 300 yards through the air if you're going to try and even drive this green. Is the risk worth it? Well, if you're just playing with your friends, maybe it is. Otherwise, you just lay it up just past those those bunkers on the right and the left. Get it down there on the flat. A little pitch you would think is simple, but because of the slope of this fairway, chances are you might not get a flat lie, and that's going to make that second shot that much harder.
It's in the hole. Just a sensational shot right there. Frank, the 8th here at Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada is really the signature par 3, isn't it?
I'd go so far, Rich, to say this is a great par 3. Doesn't matter where it was played. The stream that sort of comes all the way down there and surrounds the left side of the screen makes this hole really daunting. Logic would say if you're going to miss the screen, obviously you'd miss it to the right, but it's just a beautiful hole. And then you put the fact that the canyon frames the whole hole itself. It's beautiful.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Settles in over the putt. Nicely holed. 4th birdie of the day. Set to round out the front side here at Wolf Creek with a par 4.
Fun hole for the big hitter, too. They can really take advantage of this. The last fairway bunker down there on the right side is just over 300 yards to get over it. And longer hitters could nearly drive it in the green side bunker on the right. So just tee it up there. You're playing desert golf for a reason. Enjoy it. Just have a little flick in here. And chance, too, to have a little birdie at the end of your front 9.
That is just an outstanding shot right there. And now a chance for an eagle.
It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot and will definitely hurt.
Well done. Back-to-back birdies. Start of the back nine here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada. Rich Lerner for EA Sports with my partner Frank Nobilo. Frank, tell us about the 10th.
It looks intimidating off the back of this tee, Rich, and that's because the desert ridge on that right side, it sort of blocks your view and you don't see the right side of this fairway. Once you realize there's a lot more room to the right, then that tee shot becomes a little bit easier. Now also the angle of this green, you're going to see it sort of turn to the right there. So you've really got to be careful on where the flag is positioned on this green. If they put the flag back right, then obviously that's the hardest this hole's going to play. Flag sort of left of center, then this still could very much be a birdie hole.
How'd you like that strike?
That was top of the tree.
Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A third straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Rolling, rolling, rolling the rock, Frank.
Oh, and yet another birdie, Rich. Beautiful stroke.
Frank, another really rugged hole. This is the par 3 11th here at Wolf Creek.
Rich, remember that book, Dead Solid Perfect? This is what this hole's all about, because you must hit that tee shot solid. You've got to carry all the trouble in front of you. And remind yourself, too, there's enough green grass down there. Not necessarily green, but green grass around there. A good shot safely on the putting surface here. And this green's not too severe. But this is a fun par 3 just to look at, or even at least experience.
10-foot putt left. Knocking down all the shots today, now at 13 under. Frank, the par 5 12th is another case of a hole where you see that Wolf Creek Golf Club can actually be kind of scary, daunting. I mean, you look out at the desert mountains, and then you add in some water, which we have here on the left, and you can go for some big numbers here if you're not careful.
Well, this is where the Wolf and the Creek can take a bite out of you. You hit it left off the tee, then you're certainly going to start to rack up a number. There's enough fairway down the right, but once again, if you hit a good drive and this hole is reachable for you, then you've got to worry about the water, which is to the right of this green. 5 wouldn't be the worst score you could make around here, that's for sure. I've seen 6s and 7s.
And that's how you play the game, right there. Yes, this putt for eagle. Oh, yes, that's an eagle. 13th hole here at Wolf Creek, and Frank, anyone can say, oh, I'm going to take this one over the trees. But very few can stand up and say, I'm flying this baby clear over the mountains.
Yeah, if you take the direct route, obviously it's going to be much shorter than the 350 yards that it's measured as a dogleg right. So the direct line, well, I don't want to tell you the exact yardage because it might give you too much of a clue, but it might be worth taking. It's going to be a blind tee shot, though, and not quite sure on the outcome.
Frank, how rare would this be if this putt drops?
Well, this is I'd like to say once in a lifetime, but on the odd occasion we do see back-to-back eagles, but it certainly is something to watch.
Tough game, Frank. You can hit 300-yard drives and miss 3-foot putts.
Yeah, there's the ecstasy, and that's the agony.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. You love to watch him disappear, don't you? Frank, describe the layout here at the 14th hole. It's 444 yards, and what a beautiful hole.
It is, and it's a beautiful view. You see everything from the top of that tee there. It's a hole that keeps bending to the left. There's enough bunkers down the left there to actually take your eye. That's why you got to fixate on something in the distance that's a much better line than worrying about that wall of sand down the left side.
Drivable par 4. Not for most in this field, but for this guy, yes, he has just knocked it on. What a shot. You've got to be kidding me. That was right on the edge.
I tell you, he wants to do over there.
Now to the par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, this is the shortest hole on the course.
And their version of a postage stamp type hole, minus the bunkers on the right side. Green elevated, falls off as you can see down the left side. Club selection is vital, but it is such a short hole. It's very, very tempting, especially when that flag's on the left side, to still go at it. But you miss this green on the left, and you are going to be considerably lower than the level of this green.
Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better. Really solid stroke.
now to the 16th hole, and Frank, another good scoring chance.
If you can avoid the confusion off the tee, it looks like the hole might be a dogleg, then is it a carry? It meanders from one way to the other, but really when you actually break the hole down, it's virtually straight ahead. Those 2 bunkers in the driving distance, they frame the hole nicely, so play it as a straightaway par 4. It should set up beautifully for just a little short iron and perhaps a birdie opportunity.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up, it's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
That is professional with a capital P right there.
That's stealing.
Now to the 17th, par 5 here at Wolf Creek Golf Club.
A dogleg left. Tee shot obviously has to be played short of that creek down there. It's still going to be a reachable hole, even though this hole's sort of around the 550, 560 mark. But because you've got to play short of that stream, it's going to leave a lengthy second shot, and you've got to get the distance right on the button.
That's in the fairway. Frank, this is a point in the round, this approach shot here to 17, where we will see if the player has some nerve.
Oh, yeah, and the game as well. Obviously, if you don't want to go for this green, it's a relatively simple lap. Just knock it down the fairway. But you can see this second shot is very doable. And that bunker actually on the right side of the screen is really your friend, not your foe. It'll stop the ball if it's slightly right, save it from going back down into the water. And you see you're heading to a little bit of an upslope on the front of the screen, so that'll actually help soften the landing of that second shot when it's coming in there from long distance.
Soaring high and diving in the cup. That's an eagle. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but you know, that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 170 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.
On the way. Wow, I can't believe he found the cup on that one.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Frank, that was just a dazzling display of golf today.
It's amazing how a game at times that can be so hard and just absolutely drive you crazy can appear to be so simple. This was just an absolute joy to watch today.